Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 159. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra, from beautiful Minnesota, joined by the CaNerdian from beautiful Upper North Canada. That's Mr. Mark Carabin. How are you doing, bud?
Upper North Canada? That's my specific upper north that Canada. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take
We
it.
don't want to give audience a longitude and latitude. We just want to give them a general idea.
I'm like 90% certain I'm further south than Todd, but I'll take it.
Hey,
how you doing?
My geography. I don't know where anything is. I'm doing well. It's very exciting. It's negative 13 today here in Minnesota. Yeah, my son was walking to class because he's at college, so he's a walking commute. So that was fun. He enjoyed it so much. But yeah, living the dream. We're almost. Well, we already passed Valentine's Day, so hopefully everybody had a wonderful Valentine's, a Palentine's, a Galentine's, whatever you celebrate. Enjoy it all. But we are joined by a special guest. If you're watching right now, you see the man, the myth, the PlayStation apologist, Mr. Joseph Moran, aka Mr. Badbit, aka CEO of PlayStation, the home of Xbox games.
Heck yes, man. I can't wait to reinstate Bloodborne 2 and the Bloodborne remaster and the Bloodborne remake after the Days Gone remastered debacle. That was not my decision. That was someone else's. Okay, wouldn't have been mine, but that was someone else's. And don't worry, I'm gonna fix this ship, write it, plug the holes, all that jazz, all the leaks. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I think it's gonna be awesome. I mean, Joe, I believe when they told Shohei Yoshida, he said, "Take indies or leave." You were in the same boat. It's like, well, if Shohei's gone, I'm gone too. So
yeah, pretty much. I just read that story and I was shocked, but not say shocked. Yeah, shocked but not surprised. It's like, he would do something like that, Jim Ryan, what a piece of trash.
What a great guy. But this episode, it's going to be a little bit PlayStation tilted. So one of the goals is to convince Mark that he needs to buy PlayStation. So that's one of the goals, Joe. We need to convince this man to buy PlayStation. So we're going to see if that happens. But we're going to be talking about the PlayStation State of Play, what we've been playing. We're going to pick some icons of PlayStation. And at the end of the show, we're going to talk about the state of PlayStation, including the state of play. But without further ado, Mark, this show only happens because of some very special people. Who are they?
Those very special people are everyone over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite, where you can join for as little as $2 a month and get a free week if you just want to test things out. But you can join, like I said, as little as $2 a month and join these amazing people, such as our besties tier, Derek Trevelyan, aka the Figure Dude, Francie, the official hairstylist of SFU, Luke Lore and the Xbox Expansion Pass, and Charlie's Uncle Tim. The Friends with Benefits tier.
That's the uncle that works at PlayStation, by the way.
That is exactly, that's the one.
And that blue is just for Luke Lore.
Just for Luke Lore. I kind of figured that it wasn't, spillover booze for Charlie's Uncle Tim. John Sador, Phoenix Sisters Entertainment, Brendan Myers, Corian HD, aka the Boss Rush CEO, Matthew Keel, Kurt Krug, and Tanya Lee, as well as our Secret Friends Super Squad tier, the absolutely amazing Sean, Stella, and Henry Nias, who are also doing an incredible giveaway. Todd, do you want? I can run off on that if you would like, or do you want to talk a little bit about that one?
Sure, I can say really quick. Sean is a friend of mine in Minnesota. We've known each other for over 20 years. Great friend. He does the Waiver Wire podcast with me, all things fantasy football, if you're interested in that. But he and his son, Henry, are big fans, also Stella. But they said they want more people to check out Secret Friends Unite. And he said the best way I can help you guys is give away 5 annual Friends with Benefits Patreon subscriptions. Joe?
Oh, no, I was just counting 5 with you. That's all.
Oh, okay. Like, you have a question? The gentleman from New Jersey. There we go.
Yeah, what's up with all these drones, you think?
I don't know. Yeah. What can we say? But yeah, you can win one of these amazing subscriptions, get everything that Patreon brings to the table, just like we talked about our friends who are already paying for that. But you can enter one of two ways, and that's subscribe and comment on one of our YouTube videos, or rate our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Take a screenshot, DM us on the Blue Sky at Secret Friends Unite, at Instagram at Secret Friends Unite, or email us at secretfriendsunite@gmail.com. Just put that screenshot in there, tell us your username, and you'll be entered. We're going to announce the winners on March 4th. So, Joe, what are you waiting for? Make it happen.
And if you left a review 2 years ago and you want to enter this, take a screenshot of that review. It doesn't have to be a new one. Just take a screenshot, say, hey, I've reviewed you guys. Doesn't matter if it's from 5 years ago or not. Just say, I want to enter the contest. Here's my review. Boop. If you can't remember that and you want to DM one of us directly, you can DM me on Instagram or anything else. We'll talk about all that later on in the show, and all the links are in the show notes. So DM us anywhere, hit us up in Discord, whatever it is, Blue Sky, Instagram, email, just doesn't matter. Just enter with whatever you can. This doesn't have to be a new review, because I know if you've already left one, you can't enter a new one, and you're like, hey, I want to be in this. What do I do? So it's just that simple. Before the contest, if you want to check out, again, a free 7-day trial, head over to patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Thank you to everyone, and especially thank you to the Nias family. You guys are amazing.
This offer is valid in Canada, and there's no tariffs.
Yeah.
Please.
No, exactly.
Well, we are talking about PlayStation things, and this episode of Buy, Rent, and Return is all about PlayStation icons. I included characters from almost every generation except the PS1. We really didn't have an icon except for, Crash Bandicoot. He ended up not being a PlayStation-owned property, unless you go back to, I don't know, Vib-Ribbon or Jumping Flash. I'm not sure of another property that stuck around. Maybe Gran Turismo, but you can really have a Honda S2000. No. So we're going with PlayStation icons, including Kratos, who started on the PS2 and has had games all the way up to PS5. Nathan Drake started on the PS3, had games all up to, unfortunately, he stopped at PS4. And Ratchet and Clank, he's gone all the way from PS2 all the way to PS5. My goodness. And it's a duo. You can't separate Ratchet and Clank. So have them together, and there we go. So, gentlemen, before we get started, do we want to go in and say from the various communities who have commented? Give us their picks first.
I think that'd be fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, let me get the first one. I found out that my work actually has a Discord channel all about video games, which is very fun. Okay. Very good group of General Mills. And this is Wilmer Isip. He says she, Wilmer. I think it's a he, but maybe I don't know. They say definitely buying Kratos, probably renting Drake, and returning Ratchet and Clank. Nothing wrong with the series or game, just never got into it. Valid.
Yeah. Okay.
Although, I'll read this next one.
Uh-oh.
Save that first part of the comment for later.
No, I'll read it now.
Okay, you're going to read it now? Okay.
I'm going
to circle back to it later.
Oh, please.
Let's go.
Danny D. Wally, that's his name. That's how it's pronounced. Says, tell Joe the future of PlayStation is Xbox games. Laugh out loud, laugh out loud. All right, buddy. Well, let me tell you, the future of Xbox is a promise that they'll keep making them. By Nathan Drake. I have every trophy in every Uncharted game ever released. Wow, sure sounds like a Xbox fan to me. Uncharted was the reason I got a PS3. It's my favorite Sony IP. Rent Ratchet and Clank. I actually haven't played a Ratchet and Clank game, but I'm going with the prestige of Insomniac games. Wow.
Fair.
Well, you're uncultured. They're terrific games. Up your arsenal.
They really are, yeah. In that sense,
you two get a room.
Where are you going with this uncultured?
The love I'm getting from this conversation between Joe and Danny.
It's just it's disgusting. Go play Ratchet and Clank, fix that problem. Even the latest one, Danny, you should play. It's on PC. Amazing. You have no excuse. Return Kratos. Jesus Christ, this guy. Okay. The only Gal game I played and beat was 2018. It was a fine game. That is all. Okay, cool. That's the last truly innovative AAA IP, but okay. It's just fun. Chipotle Bear. Buy Drake, rent Kratos. Loved the original trilogy. Return Ratchet and Clank. I've played them, but I assume
I've never played them. He's got
Chipotle bear.
kids.
You got
Jose's got kids.
People gotta fix
that.
this.
They're yeah, and then go buy your kids Astrobot because they're gonna appreciate them. And then BT Haran writes, "Oh, sorry, I'm just taking all of them, huh?" Mark,
Go for it. No, give it. I like it.
It's one of Charlie's relatives.
Difficult choices here. Buy Drake, rent Ratchet and Clank, return Kratos. Played God of War on PS2, but that's all. That's fair. If that's the only one you played, I understand.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, think about all these people that like didn't appreciate the sex games of the PS2 games. I mean, you're missing out, kids.
Come on. We're bringing them back.
Yeah.
Okay, we've heard from the masses, little love, little hate, but you know what? Now it's time to get into the PlayStation expert, the man who has a tattoo of Blasto underneath his left buttock. That's Joe.
Oh, it's me?
Yes. No, oh, Mark, I don't know. Did you have it removed?
Yeah, no, he was checking. That's why I'm like,
I'm checking. I got a new Game Boy tattoo, but that's
Oh.
no other video game tattoos.
Okay. See, I'm thinking real
nearly.
talk before we get into it. I'm thinking of making my right arm a sleeve of just video game references. So like
That would be sweet.
my right forearm will be Ellie's like fern, and then I would love to see, because there is an artist that could do this. I know them, of getting the bite that she got on her arm.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
That'd be dope as hell.
Bad
Anyway.
decision when the actual zombie outbreak happens, Joe.
It's a tattoo.
Tattoo.
Yeah.
They talk like RFK. It's not a tattoo. It's nothing real wrong. I don't like him. I'll make fun of his voice.
Okay,
Anyway,
Joe.
yes.
On track. Joe's keeping us honest here.
Right. Who am I buying? What am I renting? Who am I returning? Goodness gracious. I'm gonna say this is blasphemy. These are like these are the icons. I think you did a great job here, because this is a really hard choice. All three of them are phenomenal and are the pinnacle of like PlayStation and just PlayStation Studios. Santa Monica, Naughty Dog, Insomniac, amazing. So I say all of this with just the utmost respect. We are going to return Ratchet and Clank. And that hurts me because I love Ratchet. But when I think of PlayStation, I think he is third on the list. I think of these two. Nathan Drake, phenomenal. I think that line of games are just so good. I've been dying to play them again, and I actually do hope that the rumor of them remaking 1 is true, because that's a game that definitely needs that facelift. But we're renting Nathan Drake. I think Nathan Drake is a great game, great character. He is a type of character that, or he's a type of game that is just, I always say they're the ones that get you into the door of PlayStation, into the realm. Santa Monica is the reason why you stay, though. Kratos, as someone who got into the God of War PS2 games very late after playing 2018,
Really?
and Ragnarok, or getting ready for Ragnarok, Kratos was a character I never liked until 2018, and then I think he goes on one of the best arcs in video games, one of the most fulfilling arcs in video games, with Ragnarok. And Ragnarok plays a very strong chord in my heart. And I love both of those games so very much. And then going back to the PS2 games, because I wasn't allowed to play them as a kid because my mom heard about the threesome mini games. How well they age is actually remarkable. It's like, oh wow, this you play a lot of PS2 games, you're like, oh, this is rough. There's not a lot I would kind of change in the gameplay department of these things. There's something that you could easily like touch up remastering. It's kind of like Resident Evil 4 in a sense. It's like those games, yeah, do they show their age? Sure, but they are still, it's like when you see a 90 or a, a 60s, or 70s Camaro, and you're like, oh, whoa. It's like, yeah, it's an old car. Yeah, there's nicer things out there, but like,
But it holds
you're
up.
appreciating it. Yeah, it
Mhm.
holds up. So I think if there is a character that defines PlayStation throughout its entirety of starting with the PS2, the PS5, I think it's Kratos.
Good picks. I
Thank
love
you.
the
Yeah.
fact that you started on 2018 and went backwards.
Yeah.
That's hard for a lot of people to
Yeah.
go back.
Oh
Very.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
as
Especially
someone
that
who
era. The
Mhm.
PS2 era is sometimes very hard.
and as someone who is like that, like I don't play old games, for me to go and they hold up, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a true compliment in my book.
Mark.
Yep. This is a tough one. Like Joe said, this is like top tier. You know what I mean? Like the return here is like someone has to go kind of thing. Like it's not that I don't like any of these. They're all great and they're all so different that it's really, really a personal choice, I think, because these are obviously top tier franchises, top tier characters, top tier games. Um, I'm going to have to do. I'm gonna have to buy Nathan Drake. The reason I bought a PlayStation 4 to begin with was I wanted to play all of the Uncharted games. I had missed them up until that point. Bought them all. Um, I love Indiana Jones. Any kind of like uh national treasure, whatever, like if there's a treasure
Yes.
hunting kind of thing, I'm in. And it was the same thing for the Uncharted games. So yeah, Uncharted, sign me up every time. Amazing, absolutely amazing. The next two are a difficult decision,
Mm,
because I know the correct answer for this in terms of what I think. Joe kind of broke it down to like Kratos, I think is like the definitive, especially 2018 masterpiece of a relaunch, rebranding kind of thing, soft reboot, or whatever it was. Um, and like you said, the modern game definition of like, yeah, here's what you should do. Hey, someone take Halo and give it this treatment or something, like other studios need to treat a character this way. And I,
when
I
I
don't think, oh,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry, I just to cut you off for a second. When I say it, I genuinely mean it. There's not a lot of games like God of War in a AAA landscape. Like I can take maybe a few, maybe like Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring of like games on a AAA level that will inspire the next big AAA game. Like you're
Mm,
already seeing it in certain games of like, yeah, this is inspired by God of War, whether it's the angle, whether it's the perspective, whether it's the lack of cuts, whether it's the
mhm.
action you feel, you're already seeing that. So I don't joke when I say like God of War, modern God of War is incredibly inspirational, and you
Yeah,
don't get that in AAA games because they all play it safe because they're all taking ideas from indies. So I'm
yeah.
sorry. Continue.
No, I think that's a great point. And so I think based on that, Kratos should be my rent here, and sadly, Return Ratchet and Clank. But I kind of want to switch those. Just for me personally, very personal. Ratchet and Clank always reminds me of my brother,
Mm.
and it was one of the first franchises my brother really fell in love with. That and Jack and Daxter on PlayStation 2. Um, I loved the PlayStation 4 version of Ratchet and Clank. Um, so I kind of almost want to say rent to that one and Return Kratos, but like, can you do that? Even like Joe said, like the God of War, the old God of War games. Even like I rocked God of War on the PlayStation Vita.
Yeah.
Um, these games were, just like you said, just always good. And then 18 was fantastic. I genuinely don't know where to go with this. I am gonna say rent God of War, return Ratchet and Clank, and
Ooh.
sorry to my brother. That I don't know how I feel with that one, but anyway, that's where I'm going. Todd, how you feeling about this one?
This is really, really hard because each of these games mean a lot to me. Just like Joe said with Ratchet and Clank, I didn't fall in love with Ratchet and Clank until the PS3. Then I went back to the PS2 and played the Ratchet and Clank games. I'm like, these are amazing. I don't know why they didn't glom on. I was more of a Jack and Daxter fan. So I feel like those games are still fantastically playable because the gameplay is the top reason. It's not the story, it's not this, it's not that. It's the gameplay is so amazing. And I would say Insomniac has the best weapon systems in all of gaming. Resistance had some of the best weapons in the secondary systems I've ever played with. They were amazing. I think they bring, of all these games, I think they have the best gameplay, and it just works. It's addictive.
Yeah.
That I've got to upgrade all my weapons, and it's phenomenal. And it's open to everybody. Kids of all ages can play this game. Adults can play it. I think it's Sony's most family friendly franchise, even its weapons. But it's very cartoonish. It's very fun. I would say though, based on all these properties, the worst movie probably is Ratchet and Clank.
Oh,
Yes, Joe. I mean, talk about taking cutscenes from a video game and calling it a movie. Horrible idea. Horrible idea. But still, but I'm gonna look at this from this lens.
Okay.
Tracking my history and the influence of these games, what they mean to me, I am gonna return Ratchet and Clank so someone else can play them. I've played them. I'm going to return them. Give them to the next generation because you should all play them. I'm renting Nathan Drake. Nathan Drake took what Indiana Jones did, took the ball from Lara Croft and said, let's turn this into a next big franchise of dungeon spelunking or, spelunking and high adventure that were kind of lacking. Indiana Jones didn't have a game forever. Lara Croft kind of veered off and had quality issues. She was more about traversal. The gunplay in Lara Croft was never good. I mean, let's be honest. Those first games were really bad. But Nathan Drake, when you saw what Naughty Dog did going from Jack and Daxter to Uncharted, huge leap in just what they were going, and especially what they nailed right was telling a story and dialogue as you play. I think that was amazing. And you've seen this game series change, adapt, and the joke is always about Nathan Drake has killed more people than anybody in the world. But we still like him. He's still doing the right thing. And I've liked how this series has progressed, and I love the fact that they took the franchise and did the Lost Legacy, which I love that game so much. Talk about a small game that Sony needs to do more of, those type of smaller experiences like Miles Morales, which brought in 2 supporting characters and made them the leads. Phenomenal. And then Nathan Drake, where 4 ended, took the series where you could say what's next. But I'm going to hold the Marky Mark against them. The movie, it's hurting my heart. That's why it does not get elevated. So you know what? I'm holding it against him. It was fine. It was serviceable. It was
a fun popcorn movie, man. It's better than the God of War movie. Oh wait, it doesn't exist.
Thank God, because maybe now. If the God of War came out in like 2009, along like House of the Dead and the original Resident Evil with Mila Jovovich, not good. It would have had like Vin Diesel and it would have been a mess. But that's my rent.
The Rock.
Yes, exactly. Kratos. My God, I love these games on PS2. It was not about the story. It was about the fantastic gameplay, amazing set pieces, the weapons, the play style. And yes, there's regrettable elements of it. It was the early 2000s, by the way, or the late 90s, where you had like sexy girls and, rhythm adult games. But the gameplay was compelling. There were games on the PSP that I really got into. I know those were big. And then we carried on that progression with Kratos in the PS3 game, which I never thought was very good. It was okay, but it felt like more of the same. But when 2018 came out, blew me away. And the fact that story is so special in my heart because my son was Atreus' age when I first played that game, and then he ended up picking up the mantle for me. Skipped 2018, went right to Ragnarok, and he loved that game. Beat it on the hardest difficulty. The son has replaced the father in the pantheon of gaming, but I just loved the story it told. I love the gameplay. It's one of my favorite mixes of story and gameplay of all time. I think it's phenomenal, and the fact that they gave us the free. What was the DLC or free DLC they gave us? that was amazing too. And they delivered it and they said, go have fun. So I love the franchise. I'm scared about where it goes next because it could be bad, but I have heard good things about who's making the God of War series. It's going to be the guy behind Deep Space Nine and also what's the space series on Apple? For All Mankind?
Oh yeah, For All Mankind.
Good.
Yes. So it's phenomenal. Ron D. Moore also did Battlestar Galactica. So we're in good
Yes.
hands. Yeah. So there we go. That's my pick. Love Kratos.
God of War 2018. I like to say is a story about me and my dad, and Ragnarok is about me and my mom. Like both those games are very personal for two very very big reasons. So yeah, they're perfect. They're borderline perfect games, masterpieces. You should all play them.
And Mark, you played 2018, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, Mark, need to at least borrow your brother's PlayStation 5.
Yes, I did mention that to him a couple of days ago, actually.
Yes, I am begging you.
Don't know when it will happen, but yeah, I mentioned that I'm going to have to steal it. But he still doesn't have Astrobot, like the newer one. So I was like, maybe I will just steal your PlayStation 5 and buy Astrobot.
Buy Astrobot, share it. Yep.
You know, like whatever. Yeah.
Finn will love Astrobot. He'll love Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
He will love so many things.
Yeah.
Or get him a PlayStation Portal and he can go Wi-Fi to his uncle's system and play.
Yeah. We definitely live in the same house for that to work.
No, you would be surprised. I played the Portal when I was in North Carolina. That was like a few 100 miles away from my home, and I was playing Veilguard A-OK. Like,
all right.
It's on hotel Wi-Fi. Like, I get it. Mileage is gonna vary for folks. It might not be whatever because, I feel as long as your PlayStation 5 is hardwired, the Portal is gonna be is a great companion piece.
But the Portal also supports streaming of over 200 games now that you don't even need to connect to your PlayStation, which is great. If you have PS Plus, there's over 200 games there you can play, which is great.
How much is a Portal though? Wouldn't it just make more sense to buy it for PlayStation?
$200. Okay. It's big screen. It's controllers built in, so you don't have to worry about.
Just buy the PS5, Mark. Just buy the PS5.
Yes.
Yeah, just do that. Trust me.
Your wife will appreciate it.
Yes.
I don't see you anymore, hon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Switch is all yours.
Yeah. That's because I kicked you out of the house. Remember, Mark? Yeah, you're living.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, Flynn has this
down by the river.
Finn has this. Well, your wife has the Switch. Finn has the Xbox, and you have the PlayStation. It's perfect family. Never talk to each other again.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yes. It's good that way. Trust me.
Okay. So you get into what we've been gaming.
Woo.
So if you're a PlayStation player right now, it's interesting because certain games, and if you're on Xbox, if you got early access, you might be playing Avowed. So Joe, what have you been playing?
Been playing a Redacted game I can't get much into. But
so not Redacted the game.
Not Redacted.
There's a game called Redacted. I wasn't sure.
But check a look at this week's Trophy Room, where we're going to be talking. Well, mostly Kyle and T are going to be talking about it. I'm just going to be asking mostly questions because while I've been playing it, not as much as I'd like to. That said, I have been also playing. This one's a quick one. I played Civ 7.
Oh, okay.
On PS5, runs great. There's a lot I like about it. I think a lot of the changes of the game I dig. Like how cities work. It's like you don't have workers anymore. Just throughout the turns, you're actually improving the tiles and buying pieces, and actually there's a point to the currency and how you use it. I think that's great. Even using a controller, this is my first Civ with a controller. Is it rough around the edges? Sure. But I think that's more with like muscle memory. I'll get used to it in time. Here's the reason why.
Select things. I mean, are you using the stick to move it like a mouse?
So essentially, like the right trigger moves the map around, and then the right thumbstick moves the map around, and then the left thumbstick moves it individual tiles around.
Is it precise?
It's pretty darn precise. Yeah, that's not much of an issue as is like moving units is kind of clumsy.
Like selecting multiple units or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Civ fan since 4. 4 got me into the franchise. I really love Civilization. I love strategy games. Microsoft, call me. Age of Mythology. I'm here. Day 1. Let's freaking go, dude.
Oh, that's right. It's coming PlayStation,
It's
right?
coming to PlayStation. Can't
Mhm.
wait. I love Age of Mythology. I love Age of Empires. Um, I just love, again, strategy because I love history. This game I dropped immediately after I was met with how this game actually works. Now, usually you start off as like a caveman and you work your way up to modern society. And each age, towns grow, tech improves, and pretty much everything kind of stays the same, or just it builds upon. It's like it's snowballing. Um, in this game, you have 3 eras. I'm just gonna call. I don't know them off the top of my head. You have a dark era, enlightenment, and then you have modern-ish. It's not like actually modern. It starts, from what I'm aware, at like it stops at like the 1950s. It's like, don't know why. Nonetheless, when you start each new age, you then pick a different leader to lead, since like sometimes you're picking like, the Persians, and they're not around by the 1800s, so you're gonna
Mm.
choose, or by the 1500s, so you're like, I'm gonna choose the Ottoman Empire, like stuff like that. That kind of makes sense, sorta, but I'm not a huge fan of it. So it's like you get 2 benefits. You have at the end of each era, some units just go away. They just get completely wiped out. And
Mm.
I was going on a conquest run, and by the end of this era, I was invading this one territory, and then it just wiped it all out. And I was like, my whole force. I'm like, I now have to go back and waste time and build a new army again. Like, this is exactly, Mark. Like, it's really dumb. That's a really
Yeah.
bad idea, and it makes things for like, instead of you. I get the logic of like, you don't want to just snowball and just like completely conquer everybody because you're whatever. But on the different side of that coin is, well, now I'm just restarting. It's like another mini game, and,
Yeah.
and it's really annoying.
Like it's like moments like an MLB The Show. It's like, oh, we're gonna replay Hank Aaron hitting this home run,
Yeah,
right? Disconnected.
and then they're like, you have these crises that lead up to these eras. I understand what they're trying to do there, but the crises are things that just are negative buffs that you're picking.
Mm.
And it's like there's no benefit to these crises. They're just like, my people just hate me for no reason. It's very strange how things work in this game, and very disappointed in it. So I literally, once my whole army got wiped out, I'm like, this is not why I play Civ. So
Yeah.
just
Think
got
that is that
rejected.
something they could address, or is it too
Yes.
baked into the? Okay.
No, I think a lot of this game will get like patched in the next like year.
Okay.
For sure. So don't pick it up right now. Please, for the love of God, don't.
Wait and
That's
play the definitive version on Switch 2 that has mouse Joy-Con support.
honestly, that does sound
Yes.
dope. I'm not gonna
It's
hate
funny
that.
because it's coming to like
Yeah.
it's coming to Switch, which I
It's
was
on
like,
Switch, yeah.
it's out on Switch. I'm like, that's interesting. The interesting part though is, did you hear that there is a version coming to VR on Quest
Yeah.
3 and 3S?
Yeah.
It's like playing on your table,
See,
and you have
that's
like
awesome.
oversight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not PlayStation VR, unfortunately, but maybe
Nah,
they'll
it's
do
dead.
that. But
No, it's done.
sign of
That's good.
life, sign
Yeah.
of life. Is it breathing?
Yeah.
Where's the mirror? Hold it up to your PlayStation VR right now.
A sign of death, the shots to the back of the head. That said, the last game that I've been playing is Lies of P. I played it
Ooh.
back when it came out. We got code for it, very awesome, but I wasn't able to beat it. Kyle
Ooh.
beat it. He loved it. He's been singing this game's praises. He's like, this is the best Souls game that's not a Souls, from software. Excuse me. And I agreed. Like, for what I've played, I've loved it. I just, for some reason, just didn't get back into it. There's
Mm.
like another game came into the way, and it's just, God damn, I hate when that happens. Now that I have no games in my way, or one, but like this one has been. It's like, oh, it's like when you reconnect with an ex. I don't know why I broke up with her yet, but I'm having a really good conversation. Um, that might lead somewhere else. And
What you wearing?
a top hat, it's dope, in a robot arm,
And
and
that's it.
that's it.
Yes.
And it's stellar. Like this game is the Bloodborne spiritual successor that I'll never have. If you loved Bloodborne, this is this game is much more forgiving than a Souls game, but at the same exact time, it's still challenging. It's still a ton of fun. The boss fights are pretty darn good, and I'm playing it on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Probably the reason why I'm playing it, because I kind of want to do a in-depth review of the games on it. This one has a patch. It has no VRR, which is a bit of a bummer, but it is 4K 60.
Ooh.
Okay.
And this is one of the first games where I was like, "Oh, this is why you get a PS5 Pro.
That's it. Yeah.
This is it. It's really freaking beautiful." And even
Nice.
if you bump it to quality mode, it's like, it's even better 4K or true 4K, and like at like 50 or 40 like frames per second. So it's like 55 or something. So it's like it's really freaking good, y'all.
I
You should be
believe
playing
the
this game.
extra 5 to 10 frames cost you $100 more to get the PS Pro Plus Plus.
Exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I've been really enjoying my time with that, and I've already caught up to my past save. So like now everything is, new to me.
Perfect
So
timing, Joe,
Nice.
because that the DLC is coming out, and I will tell you this: my son has beat Bloodborne. He's beaten Elden. Well, he beat Sekiro, which he loved to pieces, and
yes,
he played Elden Ring. I don't think he actually got to the end because like he got bored with it. He
no,
loves. He says Lies of P is actually his favorite Soulsborne game, Souls-esque game. So when I told him the DLC was coming, he's like, "Holy cow, Dad!" So he's a
that's
pro player.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
First off, Sekiro, ingenious, and
loves that game.
yeah, it's stellar. But like it it is better than some From Software games. I'll give that. I'll give the kid that.
Wow.
It's
He was
really
also
good.
really good at he loved Armor Core 6. He was
Oh
amazing at that game. So
wow.
he does everything. Yeah.
Okay.
So
God, your kid's so cool. And he's got the coolest name too. I hope he's picking up all the chicks at college, man. I know you're probably
well,
dreading it, but like he's so
he's
cool.
Logan with an A, not a U. I don't know what the U Logan. Captain Logan?
Yeah,
Logan?
no, I
I
mean
don't know.
he's the bizarro one. Your kid's the cool one. He got all the cool genes.
Oh yeah.
Snick named after Wolverine. What can I say?
Come
Yeah.
on. Dope. So
Very good.
that's what I've been playing.
Excellent.
very
Can't
cool.
wait to hear about what Redacted is when you talk about it on PS Trophy Room.
Ooh, who
Tune
knows?
in.
Mark?
Yes. I have been not playing a ton new. I'm waiting for Avowed. I was this close to pulling the trigger on that Game Pass upgrade expansion,
Get your
$25
art book.
whatever
You were gonna
thing.
buy it for the art book, right? The digital art
Yeah,
book.
definitely, and I love an Xbox locked digital soundtrack. Wonderful.
I hate those.
Sounds
Stop putting those in.
It's such a stupid thing.
It's already on Spotify. Like, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
yeah, right. Like that's
stop
that's
putting
it. Like
soundtracks in your
Unlocks a
games.
bonus
why?
track on Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Why bother? Give me a comic book or an audio book or some sort of
Yes.
something. Just
Steelbook.
anything. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't pull the trigger on that, and so instead, I've been revisiting. A friend at work got a Quest 3. So I've been jumping back into a few games. Jumped into Horizon. Played a few like mini games in Created Islands. Watched a concert in that. Just been kind of enjoying jumping back into VR and doing a little bit of everything, and checking out some games that I've gotten on sale over the past couple of months that either didn't play or didn't put a lot of time in. Nothing I'm, and that's the thing, nothing I've been spending like a ton of time in, because just been kind of like going back in and like I haven't really played it too much in the last little while. So like I want it to be like, oh, you should check out this game. Oh, was that game good? Yes, that game was good. Okay, you check it, like it's just those little recommendation things. Like I jumped back into Moss for a second, like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Mark, do you have the what is it, the MetaQuest Plus service or whatever? Did you get like the
I do.
3 month?
Yeah,
Like,
I got the 3
have
months
you
free for
seen the games?
that.
There's a lot of good games on there. I'm
It's
like, I
great.
need to check that out.
Yeah, it is. It is a fantastic service, and that's the thing. That's what I mean. Like over the last couple of months, I've accumulated all these games that I'm like, Andrew, we should play this. We should play. This. This one has a multiplayer component. This one has. So we've been talking a lot about that, and there's like sales going on right now. So we're trying to like coordinate. Like, oh, we could both play this. We could be in our living rooms and playing this against each other or with each other, that kind of stuff. So just kind of like
Wife
setting up my
walks in the
VR
room.
again. And
Honey, why are you blowing kisses?
yeah,
Mark and I did. We were watching Rick and Morty together one night. We
yeah,
watched that, and that was
yeah,
very interesting.
yeah. I even had at one point just like my Xbox up. I played several rounds of Fortnite. Wife was playing. Oh yeah, Joe.
I can't believe I have not said this. Someone hacked my Fortnite account.
What?
Thousands of dollars is on that. I've
No.
contacted them. They're like, we'll see what we can do. I'm like, you see to it that it gets done. You know what I'm saying?
Epic has one person on customer support, I think. One person.
I emailed them. I was able to finally like do the account recovery. They say, oh, everything's on. Like one email's like, don't worry, sir, we got you. The other email that's the automated like service, they're like, you can see what we could do. Like, what? Huh?
You know, all those skins that no longer exist.
Just see it's weird, and where I'm asking you to do it is like the IP address that I play my game. Come on, dude.
Ooh, that's crazy.
So if we see a Mr. Badbit out there, it might not be you, Joe?
He changed the name. This son of a bitch changed the name. And I'm gonna not bleep out the curse.
Wow. Wow.
Here's the thing though.
I heard it's a person called V Putin who hacked your. Yeah.
Pooty Poo. He's friends with someone I know. Yeah, no, it's. I feel like if I can't get the account back, I think I'm good dropping it. I don't have the strongest urge to go back if that's the case. And it's like no long like I'm not even angry at this point. It's like I had my time with it, I had fun with it. The money I spent was the money I spent on these skins, and like I enjoyed them when I had them. But like I think I'm done. I could turn.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would be too.
Fully.
That is very tough to take all that time and love and interest, Mark. I mean, like same with you, Mark. I mean, I couldn't even imagine if you lost your account. I mean, what would you even do?
Two-way authenticate, whatever.
I have that shit. On
everything.
I thought I did. I thought I had it, and apparently I didn't. So.
Oh no. Okay. Yep. That is incredibly rough.
Yeah. Wow. I'm sorry, continue with your thing though.
Yeah, no worries. Anyway, I played several rounds of VR with my wife playing. So I didn't realize, and I guess I should have tested this earlier, but you can play your Xbox and do cloud streaming at the same time next to one another. Because I did that. So she was playing Hogwarts Legacy on my Xbox Series S.
That's cool. So
Series X.
So like you could be using the account at the same time as you're local. So that's cool.
Yeah. And so I was playing Fortnite on a floating virtual screen right next to her. And then the kiddo was playing Pikmin on the Switch. It was a gaming day. And it was fantastic. It was awesome. I have been, aside from VR stuff, I have been playing a little bit more Pikmin. We are very close to finishing off Pikmin 4. I've been doing all the Olimar quests, and some finishing off like 100%ing each one of the areas.
What's the thing, Mark, in Pikmin 4 that has like the people talk about it? It's like this extra stuff in Pikmin 4. Like, is it like a weird like quest system or something, or there's battles or
Dindori challenges?
Yes,
maybe?
that stuff. Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I've been picking those off too. Basically 100%ing every single, there's like 5 biomes or whatever. So I've been 100%ing those. As of today, I have 4 out of 5, 100% completed. And then I think I'm around 40 something percent of the last one. So we're getting there. We 100%ed Pikmin 3. So now we're moving on and tackling Pikmin 4. And I love Pikmin 3, Pikmin 4. I think Pikmin 3 did a better job at multiplayer, to be completely honest.
Mhm.
Pikmin 4 was a big step back because second player is just a reticle on the screen that can like shoot rocks.
How exciting.
So it's
Finn, look at you, you're reticle.
And depending on how you see it, like it can be really, really good. Like he loves sometimes not having to face bad guys with any kind of repercussions or anything like that.
Sure.
He can, and sometimes he'll say like, "Dad, just like stick back. I got this one." And he likes being able to do that and just shoots the bad guys. And there's no repercussions. They can sometimes come after me, but if I'm kind of even hanging back, he's been getting really good at sniping. And he tosses these rocks, he tosses bombs, he does all this kind of stuff. He's getting really good at like, scrolling through the different weapons and the different power-ups and throwing things out. And he really likes that, but he does miss some of that. Like Pikmin 3, we're each two different characters and we can go off and complete missions and coordinate and team up together to take on bosses and that kind of stuff. Like completely gone from Pikmin 4, which is wild to me because there's such a massive cast in Pikmin 4. So you just have to kind of accept that it is that way and enjoy it. But today he asked me to download Pikmin 3 again. So I think he's kind of itching to be like
redoing things. Yeah.
I think I think he wants to just play something where he can play and feel he can accomplish something without sticking where I go. Because sometimes I'll go off on a thing and he's like, no, I want to go this way. And he'll move the reticle like the way he wants to go. But it's like, haha, you're powerless, sucker.
It's like the old Lego games where you would be playing co-op and like, why the hell are you going over there? When I played with Logan back in the day.
But Pikmin 3 is perfect for that because there's stuff in every corner of the map. And so he can F off over in one direction as much as he wants and contribute to the percentage, contribute to the day, to contribute to what we're doing, take 50 Pikmin and go off, and I take my 50 Pikmin and go off, and we can do exactly what we want to, and then come together if we need to do a challenge together. So I think he's kind of getting sick of that Pikmin 4 like uselessness. So we'll see how much longer. I'd love to 100% complete Pikmin 4 because I never did. Like I beat the game, but didn't ever go into this much depth of like every single collectible, every single Dandori challenge, every single person rescued, just 100% leaving that game. And that's what we've done with the series so far is 100% completions of every game in the series, which has been really different from my usual play style. But when you have a 4-year-old who's obsessed with Pikmin, that's what you do. So that's what I've been doing. I can't wait for Avowed. Super, super excited for that one.
Perfect timing for him to go back to play Pikmin 3, Mark.
And
setting you up.
I love that.
I love that over there.
It is I love that I'm going to be able to play Avowed in VR if it's a little too violent and I can't play it while he's around. I'll just be like, boop. All right, I can still see you over here, buddy. I'm just gonna go in my virtual screen.
Enjoy.
Dad, it sounds like people are screaming. Don't worry about that. It's fine.
They're enjoying themselves.
Just lighting them on fire.
Screams of joy.
I'm definitely not lighting anyone on fire and stabbing them through the face.
No, not freezing someone and turning them into ice cubes. I do say though, I think if Nintendo ever made a Labo 2, I think Pikmin AR VR would be amazing.
Oh God, yeah.
Putting a little Pikmin across, you having out there, you throw them. That'd be amazing. So
it's a shame. Like the was it Pikmin Walk or whatever the hell it was? Like they tried to
Walk,
Pokemon
Bloom,
Go,
Bloom,
so Pikmin Bloom. That's it.
Yes.
It was a shame like that one never. Maybe I'll try him with that. Like I'll show it to him, but like he doesn't have a phone, so it's not. He's going to be.
Like that's next, Mark. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, I don't want to like even tempt him with that kind of stuff. But like I kind of I wish that was more Pokemon Go esque because he likes watching Pokemon Go anytime I've dipped back into it. But Pikmin Bloom I never felt like going back to. So maybe I should. And feed this obsession while I can.
I think you need to get him into Pokemon Sleep. I think that's good for him.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Go to sleep. Get those Pokemon. My son actually did that to help him sleep, but oh well. Achievements with sleeping. I would like to get achievements for sleeping too. For myself, talking about children and the impact they have on your gaming, that would be Cyberpunk 2077. My son said, "Dad, you gotta finish Cyberpunk. You've been messing
Dude,
around for years."
I love your son. He is so cool,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Oh,
Ah, I
Joe, he is
aspire to
my
be him.
Sherpa now. He tells me what to do. Dad's like, "Dad, don't worry about it." He tells me the spec to get. This is what is so great about Logan. I finally beat Cyberpunk. And then he says, "But Dad, did you play this mission? No. Did you play this mission? Nope. Did you do this? Nope." I'm like, I felt like I failed him because I'm like, I beat the game, but he said, "Dad, you got the worst ending." It was the saddest thing I've ever
Oh
experienced. I
no.
felt like it was like, what is the old movie, Old Yeller, where the dog goes out and gets shot?
Yep.
I felt like that was my character. I got out to the
Dude,
yard and
you
got
got the
shot.
Arasaka ending? Shit.
I did. I did
That's
get there.
rough.
That was the worst one in the world. Talk about a depressing experience to end
Yeah.
what I loved. And Joe, I don't know if you'd heard this before, but
Uh-huh.
I accidentally got into Phantom
Yes.
Liberty.
Yeah.
I don't know why I call it Liberty City, but I
Okay.
got into Phantom Liberty by accident, which I
Mm.
wasn't supposed to do yet. So I started playing that, and these Logan's like, "No, you got to go back." So I'm in between things, but I finished the game, and he said, "Dad, yes, you can go back." So I went back. So
Mm.
it basically allows you, which is great. So the ending was cool, but now I'm in a mode of now I've got a lot of things to do. Clean up. He's like, "Dad, do these things, do these things. You need this type of you're like, Dad, get smart weapons because they're amazing. You got like smart weapons are amazing." So I'm in that mode. I'm doing all these different quests. I'm
They
figuring out
make
who
the
I'm gonna
game easier too.
romance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm he's like, "Dad, you're not playing a hard enough level." Which to me, I'm like, "Do you know me?" He was like, "No, Dad, you can do it." He's like, "Dad, you can do it." I'm like, "Okay, I'm playing it harder now." So it's great. I'm loving Cyberpunk. I love it the fact that I did finish it, but it's my game I can go back to and just whittle away, which is great. It's like Witcher.
Yeah.
Witcher, it took me forever to get into Witcher, and once I did, and then
God damn.
playing all of the expansions, God, played some amazing quests. Cyberpunk, I'm experiencing the great side quests, which I
Mm.
think you have to do in a CD Project Red game.
Yep.
So this is, like I said, I'm completed, but I'm not done. And this may
Fair.
be my forever game. I just dip in
Dude.
and play in between games, which is
That
perfectly fine.
when you get the good ending, and you could play Phantom Liberty. You could play because Phantom Liberty, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
adds an
It's kind
extra
of dip
ending.
in. Yeah, yeah.
But it's Cyberpunk's one of the best one of the best RPGs I've ever played. I love it so much. Just on a narrative level, it's one of the best RPGs I've ever played. Johnny Silverhand is, to me,
Oh,
one of the best written characters in a game, period. It's like I love Ellie and I love Johnny Silverhand. Johnny Silverhand is the man I aspire to be. I love that speech he gives you on why he wants to, do what he wants to do.
mhm.
God, I live for that right now. Luigi, come save us. It's just, it's so good. And Witcher 3, I literally played this year. I'm like, this is one of the greatest games I've ever played in my whole entire life.
It's amazing. I finally got Johnny's ride, which is great. A nice Porsche. It's amazing. Love it.
I have a
And
Cyberpunk bomber jacket that is my gold bomber jacket.
Nice.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I got his jacket. Yeah, I got his jacket. And Cyberpunk Edge Runners, my son and I are watching that. Amazing. And when you get into it, you recognize portions of the game in the anime
Mm.
and vice versa. It's phenomenal. Well worth getting into. Great universe.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. But with that, this is a completely different game that you could actually play with your son. I recommend everybody play this game. It's very cute. It's called A Short Hike.
Oh, we
This
played that.
game is you have good.
Yeah,
I
great game.
I was playing it on Epic. I got it for free on Epic somehow. So if you're a PC gamer owner, if you're not even, just get an Epic account and get all the free games. Just like Amazon Prime, get all the free games. You may eventually get a PC and they're all there. So
Yeah.
Short Hike was one of those games I heard about. And they said it's basically a 2-hour game. It feels like it's a PS1 game with graphics. It's kind of clunky, chunky games, but it's the cutest game in the world. You're a little bird who's like a teenager who's going on a vacation. You have no cell phone uh, signal. So your goal is essentially to take a short hike to get the top of this mountain to get good cell phone reception. That's it.
It's cute.
It's the stupidest thing in the world. You get feathers so you can fly a little higher, which is cool. You find things to basically exchange for things. You go on little missions. Um, I the only problem I had on PC is my Xbox controller, which I was using, which maybe I should use the DualSense. I don't know.
You should have.
Um, it kept on disconnecting, so it kept on showing me PC controls. So I'm like,
Hmm.
what the heck is going on? I don't have that problem normally. So it was very weird, very frustrating because I'm like, what did I do? So, and PC is one of those weird situations. I think people know this. Sometimes you can't exit the game and go back to like the desktop in PC. You have to completely go to like your control tab option, execute program, which is just the dumbest thing in the world. It's like, what? What am I even
Yeah.
doing here? PC, come on, make it easier.
Come on.
But it's a cutest little game. You're this little bird, you have fun. I'm really enjoying it. And like you have like little side quests you can do, and I like it. But it's like a 2-hour game max. So I think it's
Yeah.
Oh,
check out the
nice.
game. It's giving you good vibes. I mean, if you can find it, it's on Epic. It's like an $8 game or something like that.
Yeah.
2 hours of play. It's everywhere. It's definitely worth it's like that cozy game. If you're not into cozy games, it's a cozy game without like chores. Like you don't feel
Okay.
like you're doing a job
Yeah.
like a day job. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Maybe
And then
this week's Madden.
lastly, I'm revisiting Star Wars Outlaws. I bought it
Ooh,
from GameFly for
okay.
$18 on PlayStation 5. GameFly,
Not terrible.
best way to get physical games. It's
Look at him.
amazing. Oh, look at that little guy, Nix. Hello, Nix.
That's right.
So cute.
Woo! I know. I
Uh,
got a little plushie, everybody. It's a little plushie sits on my shoulder.
Star Wars Outlaws is the game now that it should have been at launch.
Yes.
It is in such better shape. It allows me to play the way I wanna play and not feeling like I'm cheating the system. I feel like I can just have a great time in the world of Star Wars. Once we got the speeder bike, I'm out there having a good time. It's fun. It's a beautiful game. You got side missions. Mark, you'll love this because it feels like a Ubisoft style game where you
Mhm.
basically it also has a morality system where not morality, but basically a loyalty system where between the different factions, between the Pikes, the Hutts, and the Scarlet. Who's the other bad guys?
Pikes
Scarlet
Hut. Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
So basically, you take missions, and you have to be careful because you don't want to get too cozy to one, but maybe you do. I don't
Yeah.
know, but you basically regulate yourself in the missions you take. So I like that you're basically a real bounty hunter going on missions.
Mm.
Nyx is super cute. I played Sabak.
Sabak. Yeah.
I didn't like that game. It's a card game with dice. What the hell? That is ridiculous. So if you guys are excited about Sabak, great, you can play it. Here to me, I'm like, why are we doing dice? I didn't get
Mm.
it. I didn't understand it. I lost. I was pissed off. But
Spot's
yes,
good.
you can. I mean, this is a very big game, and it's a lot of fun. So I think it's now the time to get into it, Mark. So I know you were holding back, but now is the
Yeah.
time because I think there's going to be deals.
I've been just
It's
waiting
definitely
for a
worth the money.
sale. Well, to
Yeah,
be completely honest, I did see that it did go on sale, but I had bought a bunch of other stuff, and it was like not
yeah,
on. It was not enough on sale, if that makes sense. It
yes.
was like it was at
What's that
20%
point?
off or
Mine was
something stupid
$20,
like that.
so
It
I'm like,
was
"Oh, it's on GameFly for
yeah,
$18,
Mhm.
and I
it's
get the
been real
disc, I get the
close.
box."
Yeah, it's been real close a couple of times, but just not quite there that I've been able to pull the trigger. But I definitely will. Um, I'm even looking at right now, like the 41% off. Like that's actually not that bad. That's
It's definitely worth
maybe
the
we'll
40,
see. We'll see.
30 if you know if it
Yep,
comes around to that. I
Yeah.
loved it. Sorry, not loved. I really, really liked it. Almost loved it. I
Mm,
think towards the end of that game is the Star Wars game that I think it can be.
okay.
mm,
Um, and there's probably not going to get a sequel, sadly. But
yeah.
it's like one of those games where like this sequel is going to be actually really, it's like it could be their Assassin's Creed too, like that good.
Yeah.
So
Right. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're living in
so
Star
just
Wars, and that's the kind of the dream, right? To live the role in a Star Wars game. It feels like that's the first game where it doesn't feel like I am the person that's going to change the world of Star Wars. It's just you're living that world, and I'm
yeah.
glad that we finally have that. So
Mhm.
definitely worthwhile purchase now at a price. So if you played it earlier and you didn't like the gameplay, it's not punishing you for not doing stealth. It's really letting you play the way you want, which I love when games do. I am a person like I played Indiana Jones that way. I turned down the difficulty. I turned down the thing because I did not want that to get in the way of my enjoyment of having a movie cinematic adventure with Indiana Jones. And that's how I did it. So, yep, I'm bad at gaming and I love it.
You make me sick.
Joe, I've been playing PlayStation since day one, 2006 on PlayStation, I believe is when I got my PlayStation. No platinums.
No platinums?
That's upsetting.
No platinums. I am the worst of the best. Or the
Dude,
best of
I've
the worst.
only
Call me
ever
whatever.
owned a PlayStation 4 and I've got more platinums than that. That is wild to me. Like not
I
even
feel
an
like
easy
you're
one that
platinum
you just
shaming
like
me.
well,
I'm gonna
just
call
what there's got to be a
the
couple. We got to
Shamefullies.
pop your platinum cherry here. We got to find
like a
Joe. Can
short
you
hike
find
could
the
probably do
easiest?
it.
What is it?
Yeah,
I Am Bread? Is that the one?
No, that's
Yeah,
actually
this guy-
extremely hard.
there's got to be something.
Yeah. And,
The equivalent of
what's
what was
one
it?
game? Was it
Avatar.
Avatar.
The Last Airbender. You could get it in like 4 minutes or
Press
something on
start.
Xbox. Yeah. There's got
Press
to be
start,
something you
die
can do
once,
just to be like,
continue.
yes, I have. Of course, I have a platinum. I've been playing since
I may have to make
2006.
this
Are
an
you kidding
event
me?
like Todd gets his first platinum. Baby
surprised it hasn't-
Gamer gets his first platinum.
I'm surprised it hasn't popped at short hike.
I'm
He's
playing
playing
it
on
on-
PC.
Oh, on PC.
I'm all over the
wow.
place. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Games I play
Right,
are
it's
just
on
too
Epic,
like
it's on Epic.
there's too much
Yeah.
intricate details I need to do to get these games.
All right.
played
So
like these games, like,
new
oh,
Discord
well.
challenge or anyone listening, if you have a game that's an easy platinum, we need to get Todd his first platinum. Write in on the Discord group, DM us, and just toss your recommendations out there of easy platinums that we can just get. I just feel I'm not even shaming you. I just want you to get this so you can just get it. Unless it's like me not watching Titanic, and I just won't now because I'm like,
Oh, okay.
it's like
it's like watching
of like, you
it's
know,
like watching Schindler's
everyone
List. I'm
has
like,
seen
it's never a good time to watch Schindler's List.
yeah, like everyone's seen Titanic. I'm like, well, I knew how it ended. You know what I mean? So like, I didn't want to get into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had it spoiled for me through history. So I visited the Titanic graveyard in Halifax. That was enough for me. It's fine.
Been there, got the trophy, got the memento at the.
You're the guy that accidentally knocked the Logitech controller of that one little submarine.
Yes, that's.
Oh yeah. No, do not buy a controller to control your submarine that is going.
That's way more common than you'd think.
I know,
but
sadly,
yeah. Anyway, so that I think we got to get some.
I think we have to make this a thing. We'll figure out a way to make this a thing. We're gonna celebrate it somehow. We'll figure it out. Bring it out there. If somebody wants to challenge me with a Patreon subscription, like I will get a Patreon subscription if Todd can get his first platinum. Maybe that's what we do.
Oh, make it a challenge. See, I'm thinking of it just easy as possible. Easy as possible. You're thinking of like challenging yourself. Okay, let's see where this ends up.
Let's do it.
Oh God, Joe, I beat the first boss in Bloodborne. That is my lifetime achievement. I beat the first boss in Bloodborne.
Oh, Father
that counts. That counts.
Exactly. Exactly. It wasn't even Father Gaston. It was the guy before him.
That's fine. Listen, that's a step.
That's me. That's me. Oh well, that's what we've been gaming. The taunting of Todd is over, and now it's time for this ad. Hey, Secret Friends Unite, let me tell you about Zencastr. We use them for our show, and now they're supporting us. Zencastr is now the all-in-one solution making podcasting easy. It's the ultimate web-based podcasting solution. Provides high-quality audio and video podcast production and hosting. With a full suite of professional tools, podcasters can seamlessly record, produce, and publish studio-quality content, all from one dashboard. Being a creator has never been easier. And we chose Zencastr because of the ease of use, high quality output, and it makes it super easy for our guests to come on. We had multiple solutions we tried before, and Zencastr has just been the best fit for us. Why Zencastr? It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sounds and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Have you ever worried what you sound like? Zencastr's post-production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically removes those ums and ahs in your recording. It removes those awkward pauses in conversation too. Set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with a click of a button. So if you're interested in making an easy, high-quality podcast just with the click of a browser button, go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code SFU1. You'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Now back to the show. It's time for the bonus round, and this week, because of our esteemed guests, Joe is the man that knows PlayStation.
That's right.
I am just a novice with no platinums. This is all about the state of PlayStation.
Oh.
And my question to you, gentlemen, is the future PlayStation third party? Now, that has two meanings. Meaning, is it going to be powered by third party, or will they go and do what Nintendo does and bring in a lot of third party developers to develop their old IP? If you haven't noticed, Nintendo brings in Bandai Namco to do help with Smash, help with Mario Kart, and they use a lot of developers to do a lot of the remakes, which is good because Nintendo doesn't have a lot of teams, but they can bring in their producers to help those development teams make great games. Because we just had The Legend of Zelda. Grezzo has been involved, and that's one of their not owned developers, but a developer that does that. And I'm just wondering, is it time for PlayStation to say, hey, we need to fill the gap, and is it time for us to leverage some of our IPs with some of these third-party developers? So with that, I'm going to say we had a state of play. Well, I'm not going to say it actually happened. This last week. It was 40 minutes long. They didn't give us a lot of details of what it would cover, but we got a lot of games in 40 minutes, and we got one new PlayStation IP announced. So with that, gentlemen, I'm not going to go through everything. I just want to get your opinion on what were the games that stood out to you in the PlayStation State of Play. So who would like to start?
I want to go with Mark. I want to hear the Xbox perspective here. The guy that is going to ask his friend to borrow his PlayStation to play Ragnarok.
His brother. It's his brother, Joe. It's like that's a super easy. Like,
the great thing about this state of play was that I don't have to ask my brother for anything because there were 2 effing games that were PlayStation exclusives. So yeah, it didn't really matter whatsoever. Holy crap. There was a lot of stuff that looked really good. Directive 8020. I know, Todd, you're a fan of the Dark Picture anthology games.
Super massive. Going to space.
One console exclusive, and they mentioned VR as well. So I do wonder if this will eventually make it onto the Quest. But Midnight Walk, I thought looked really interesting. That's Moonhood Studios. Super creepy. Love the art style. Klaus has such a unique art style. I knew it was his stuff the second I saw it, just because I've known him for years. He's been he was
Little Nightmares.
Yeah, they did. And that like he what's the Zoink Games was Klaus. So any of the Zoink
got it. Like Undead
stuff.
Zombies, or what was the zombies game that they made?
Pirate Zombies or whatever.
Zombies. I can name a million things. Pirate Zombies, Zombies Vikings. But
Flipping Death, all that kind of stuff. I think he was one of the founders of that one. Anyway, so I thought that was cool. What else looked very cool? Metal Eden, is that the one?
Yes.
That was like, yeah.
I thought that was a VR game for some reason. When I saw it, I'm like, is this a VR game?
I thought it was Marathon for a second. Then midway through, I was like, oh wait, they didn't do any PlayStation logo, but it still looks dope. It looks like CyberPunk meets Doom, and I'm in.
Very much so. Yeah, that I was gonna say, like, has a Doom vibe to it, of like those up close and personal, like full arm punches kind of thing.
Crunchy.
Looks awesome. There's one before that too that I thought looked kind of badass. Tides of Annihilation, I want to say.
Yep.
Oh,
Looked
Mark,
pretty
that's the
cool.
game I wanted to call out because that game looks like a Devil May Cry because it's
Hmm.
a stylish action game that I've been
Yeah.
wanting, and it feels like that's the game. Now they mentioned there's actually like a what's the climbing game? The Colossus.
Shadows of the
Shadow of the
Is there
Colossus.
Colossus.
climbing? Is there a climbing element in this game? Because I didn't see it in the
It,
trailer. Did I
it
miss it?
looked like it. Yeah, it looked like
Yeah.
you were climbing up some of the Colossuses at
Okay,
some point.
Colossi.
Colossi.
Colossi. Yeah, yeah, looked very reminiscent of that. And then what was that Switch exclusive game? That was like
Oh, Astral Blade.
that's the one. Thank you.
Oh,
You
the
are
Astral Chain,
platform.
amazing.
rather.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just asked.
I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah. So kind of reminiscent of that in a couple of those
So good.
the games there. But there was a lot to love here. Onimusha made me laugh.
Oh,
The face on him, and then the run.
Wait, 2? Is
Like
it 2 or is
no,
the new one?
the new one.
Okay,
The
okay,
trailer for
yeah,
that one.
okay.
He's like staring at a bunch. He's like, I don't care how many you send at me. And there's a full lineup of guys, and he just kind of like turns around and has got like the I pooped my pants face and runs down the stairs. Looks super entertaining.
Thank God Ananimusha is coming back. I've been wanting for that
Yeah,
series to come back so long.
and no longer even the remake no longer an exclusive this time around. So
Oh,
lots of stuff to love here, but I'm not exaggerating when I say I think there were 4 games that were exclusive to PlayStation out of
Days Gone
30,
remake,
35.
Saros.
Soros.
What were the other 2? Any others?
Lost Soul
No,
Aside is
Lost
coming
Soul
out for
Aside.
Windows, but it's a console
Oh,
exclusive. The
who makes
Midnight
that
Walk
game?
is a
Is that a
console
Korean
exclusive.
studio?
Chinese studio.
A
Yeah.
Chinese studio,
Chinese,
okay.
yeah.
That is the most
Um,
Final Fantasy looking game I've seen that's not a Final Fantasy game,
Yeah.
but
yep.
it looks cool.
What was the other? Dreams of Another. I did think
I'm
looked
sorry. I'm coming
very
back off.
artsy, pixelated kind of thing. Also an exclusive, and Saros is the other one.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I wasn't sure.
not
They
much,
didn't
not much out of
PlayStation's gonna
30,
tell us.
35
Yeah.
games, something like that. Like, and I think like some of them that were added to the back catalog or whatever, like I'm
Yeah.
not counting those. Because but even with that, there were under 10 games for sure that were PlayStation exclusive out of like 40 games or whatever they listed here. So awesome show, just not very PlayStation-y, in my opinion. Anyway, that's
Not a lot of
my
reasons
10
to
cents.
own a PlayStation just to play the games now, even though a lot of
Zero
these games are
for
brand
me.
new, shown.
Yeah.
So there's great games coming to PlayStation. It's not the only place you can play them
Yeah.
unless
Yeah,
you own a
And I
Switch.
think
zero reason for me to buy a
Unless you own a
PlayStation
Switch
watching this.
1, maybe come to Switch 2. Don't know.
at this point, because I was thinking about this on the this is what you're gonna get is Joseph that is working on ideas for the trophy room. So you might be hearing some double speak this week, but
Okay.
this is the unrefined version. I think we think of showcases in that console war lens, right? And it's easy because it's like, hey, why do I need to buy a PlayStation? I'm looking at this
Right.
PlayStation showcase. Where to me, I'm like, what if we reframe that? What if we reframe the context of, um, here are the games that we are supporting for this platform that you're on, rather than trying to
Yep.
convince people to jump off Xbox to PlayStation.
Mhm.
We're just gonna make sure that the community that plays our games are satisfied with the games that they're getting through our partnerships.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
think the interesting the interesting bits to me as someone who's trying to find recontextualize the argument is it's awesome to see PlayStation, Xbox, the future PC show, whoever puts that together, Nintendo, all take developers from not just Western Europe, North America, and Japan, but also go to places like Korea and go, hey, here's a game that's inspired by Bloodborne that is a Korean hold studio. Hey, here's a game
Mhm.
obviously inspired by Bayonetta in a South Korean
Yeah.
studio. Here's someone obviously inspired by Final Fantasy in a Chinese location, and like here's a person developed a game from Poland or India, like places in the world that we forget about because it's not in our Western lens, that are making really cool stuff. I think that is awesome, more than like, oh, why didn't we see Uncharted 5, right? Though I would have loved to see Uncharted 5. Um, that being said, I think when we take a look at Xbox showcases, PlayStation showcases, Nintendo showcases, PC showcases, 90% of those games you're going to be able to play on anything
everywhere.
else, right?
Yeah.
We've come to that point. You look at the PC game show, dude, you could play Valheim on your Xbox, you could play Pal World on your PlayStation, probably never Nintendo. But like, you know, all those games that like are PC exclusive come to console in time. Anything that's console exclusive come to PC in time. So it's like,
Yeah.
how about, was it a good show? And I think
Yeah.
that is like, Mark, I think you hit it on the head. Good show. You're an Xbox guy. You're like, and I could play a lot of those games on Xbox.
Yeah.
That's cool, right?
I will give PlayStation huge props for putting on this show. For from a marketing standpoint, no one else is doing a showcase like this right now. Nintendo's taking a backseat while they wait for Switch 2. Maybe they're going to blow out Switch 2 like this and have a showcase of all of these games coming to Switch 2, and we'll get something like this. But the last Xbox show was like, what, 4 or 5 games, whatever they
4
did.
games. Yeah.
All Xbox games or close partnerships. I love that showcase as well. But they didn't do a big blowout of this kind of caliber, and it doesn't matter if they're all PlayStation exclusives. 90% of the population that sees these trailers first on a PlayStation state of play is thinking, yeah, PlayStation's the place where I'm going to play all of these awesome games.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't have one now, maybe I do, but PlayStation is showing me all of these amazing games. It doesn't matter if they're also coming out for Xbox console, Switch, PC, doesn't really matter. PlayStation's the one that's showing them off. That makes PlayStation top of mind for a massive variety of games. What did I say? 35, 40 games in this thing?
Like
In
26, I think.
45
I think it was
minutes?
26. Yeah.
26. Okay. I thought but either way, like the IGN breakdown of this showed 35 games mentioned. Now, I think
okay.
that was a few like rapid fire, like Armored Core is coming
Yes.
to PlayStation back catalog. And like there were a couple just mentioned basically, but like that is still a ridiculous amount of games to cover in 45 minutes. And nobody else is doing a showcase like that at this time. So PlayStation's brilliant for putting this on.
Yeah.
Guess who got a nice showcase for a game that everybody's going to love if you don't own a Switch, and that is Sonic Crossroads, the new cart game, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't own a Switch, that's your cart game. And that is like, it was great to show that off, because I think that's a game that's like, oh, okay, that's for us too. So I think you're right, Mark. I mean, it becomes these are amazing games you can play on the PlayStation. Most people, quite honestly, when we look about like exclusives for Xbox and PlayStation, it's maybe anywhere from 2 to 4 games a year. That's it.
That's what I always tell people.
Nobody buys their system just play 4 games.
Right. It's like
maybe.
It's like at the end of the day, when you see all these people yelling on the internet, calling each other dumb names, and doing like I found this cool quote out of context. It's like, guys, we're arguing about literally like a dozen games, like less than that. And listen, as someone who thinks exclusives are important, they are. They sell you on the console. The person that's making the choice between Xbox and PlayStation, I don't think they're the whole sum. And so like when I take a look at this, like even the segment of like, here's the PlayStation Plus games that are coming this month. It's like, yeah, this is who they're speaking. They're speaking to their audience. They want their audience to buy their games, and these people paid for their spots to be here or signed deals for these spots to be here. So like, cool, good on you. Let's see what I'm getting. And I think a lot of people miss that because they're like, yeah, but where's the next Santa Monica game? It's like, man, it's being worked on. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you're the type of gamer that's like, I'm I'm upset because the PlayStation's first party output has been like shitty this year. I'm not here to tell you it's not been, or this generation
Mhm.
that's not been, and it hasn't been a massive disappointment, because it has. But like when people go like, "Oh, this generation has sucked," I'm like, dude, I play Baldur's Gate 3 like is insane. Like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking? 2023 happened. It was a beautiful year for video games. I
Yeah.
played Elden Ring.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
We're not even like, so it's like, no, it sucked if you're only playing literally 6 games. But if you're playing outside, it's like there's a lot to play. It's a weird generation, but it's a lot to play. Nonetheless, like if you're disappointed because you have not seen, the God of War remaster that someone else promised you, not PlayStation, I understand getting your hopes up. But
Mhm.
at the same exact time, the showcase was a good showcase. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of
Yes.
games I'm playing. The
Yeah.
best thing, no. Was it great? I think one of this state of place problem, again. Listen, this is a joke I'm workshopping this week, is that
Oh,
they showed you a lot of the same game, right? Like so, like one.
Yeah.
So what the third person, we got a sword, we're gonna whack shit. Like, it's like, hey, here's Tides of Annihilation. Here's this chick with a Sauron arm. You want to come check it out? You're like, uh-huh, yeah, sure. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
we got this dude with a sword, and is you guys like Final Fantasy 16? Because he's
lost
wearing a
soul aside.
duster. He's
Yep.
wearing a duster this time. Come on in.
Yeah.
And then like a game afterwards, it's like, hey guys, you guys like ninjas? Is in
You got
Samurai,
Shinobi.
the guy with a sword over here. So like
Yeah.
that's a good complaint, though I like those games. So it's like yeah, maybe it was samey, but like, dude,
Mhm.
Metal Eden looks dope. Liza P Overture looks dope. Tides of Annihilation looks dope. Animusha looks dope. Metal Gear Solid Delta looks dope.
Yeah.
Animusha, sorry, Midnight Walk looks great. Shinobi: The Art of Vengeance, awesome. And that's how
Oh
you should have
man,
known the
the art
caliber
style
of.
in that. Holy shit.
That
Yeah,
is, and that's not a Metroidvania, from what I understand. That is going to be
Yeah.
an action platformer.
Straight
yep.
action.
Like, I'm all in.
And that was like
Hell
this
yeah.
announcement.
Because
You should
where's
have
Shinobi
known.
been since like the PS2? Nobody knows.
No one knows.
Yeah.
And that you should have known by that point. You're like, okay, this is a state of play.
Yeah.
And then you had to close the show. Uh, I love you. I love you so much, Housemark. This is all I'm gonna say. I just love you guys. You guys are. I love you guys. You guys are great. You guys. I'm in love with you guys.
So
Each and every one
so
of you
Joe, I'm
developers. I
I'm gonna
want
speak to that.
to
So
smooch.
obviously we had Returnal, which they made. That was their first showing up on PlayStation using the DualSense,
I love
taking essentially a roguelite from a first, like from really a type of perspective we don't normally see.
it. Yeah.
Amazing game, but turned me off because it was way too difficult. They had some, I thought, some mistakes in regards to like, oh, you have to do it in one run. And I'm like, I'm never going to do that. They eventually did enough improvement, but the game looked beautiful, played great. It was just some of the choice they made that turned some people off.
Yeah.
Saros, though, it sounds like they're making some changes to that. It's not a sequel. It's
Mhm.
got Rahul
Coley.
Kohli
Yep.
from
Cool.
iZombies, been a bunch of things. He's great. Love him to
Yeah.
pieces. He was also in the House of Usher.
Yep.
Great. He is like the main character in this. He looks awesome. And this looks like it's going to revisit this type of gameplay, but have permanence of upgrades and things like that, which will make you feel like I've accomplished something and I don't have to do it in one run, which
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm very excited for. But it's gonna be tough, and I think the game looks beautiful. So that's Housemark.
Dude.
I mean, a studio that did like really small games, different, and then to emerge. It kind of reminds me of going from Killzone to Horizon, or the PlayStation pick studios that
That
do that. So I
shot
think that's a cool one.
that shot of him looking at the thing, it's like someone got baked and was listening to Tool in a perfect circle, and
Oh
like
God.
was just like, and then there's just like staring at Indian architecture, and they're just like, I gotta
I
gotta bust
And then
this
here comes a billion bullets at me
exactly
in the red eyes of his eyes. I'm like, oh, I'm going to
exactly,
get killed by 11 million bullets.
dude.
And they
Let's
go,
Mhm.
go.
but I mean, and that's a 2026 game, I believe. Did
Yes,
they date
next
it?
Yep.
year.
Okay.
That's
They
the
did
Okay.
thing.
say
So next
Next year,
2026.
next year,
And they did
PlayStation.
say gameplay coming later this year.
Yep.
And that was the one thing
Yeah.
for me. Of the one PlayStation Studios game they showed off, we got a very pretty cinematic trailer, but a cinematic
Yes.
trailer nonetheless. And we know how those can absolutely shit the bed sometimes. I'm not saying this one will, but for the only game out of 30 that had a PlayStation logo in front of it
Yeah.
Yeah.
show us
Concept.
more than a very pretty CGI
Especially if you're late to
cinematic
the
trailer.
table. Yeah, especially if you're late to the table or party on Returnal, you may not know what to expect. So I think to a party that's good for Alpha Mark. If
Yeah,
you're know what Housemarque is capable of course you're like they can pull that off.
Yeah.
So it is a
yeah,
maybe
It's
they should have showed a little more
Okay,
than they told.
yeah. 50 million PlayStation 5s have been sold since Returnal came out. It was a very early game. You know, it's not like a caliber of game that I think people are buying PlayStation 5s for at this time. I think they needed a little bit more for this game as someone who didn't play Returnal, as someone who knows a little bit about it, but looked at this and was like, okay. But that's what PlayStation decided to do. That one I have to say surprised me. As much as I loved the cinematics of that one, it was just kind of like throw something else in there. I don't know,
right.
like something. It was Days Gone
It's
and this, like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I definitely get that complaint. And again, I'm not here to dissuade you from it because if because I'm like, am I just to me, I'm like, am I just so disconnected of like, I don't know, man. There's planes falling in the air every day, and I'm here to get upset about like, like
Yeah,
it's like,
Don't you know the glory of Returnal?
it's just like I'm
You
no. Well, my thing is
simpletons.
like,
You
I,
people without platinum trophies?
it's like, do I have the energy to get mad at like things that
No.
are totally out of my control that will come out? So it's like, I get it.
yeah,
But I understand the person that's like, dude, I bought this PS5 because I want to see Intergalactic. Or you're like, man, I could have been playing Intergalactic by now. I could have been playing Corey's game by now. I could have been playing all these
mhm,
games by now if PlayStation wasn't trying to do this games as service dumb shit. And I'm
Yeah.
frustrated because like if I, we say it on the trophy room a lot. We love PlayStation because of their IP. Well, I haven't seen a lot of it, and now I'm
No.
getting impatient because I'm a fan of the IP and I have yet to see it. So
yeah.
I understand that, and I'm not here to dissuade you. You have a right to be angry because it is enough is enough. You need to start showing us stuff and to see them
Um,
or at least hear that they're still on the fence of a showcase versus another state of play. It's like, guys, your audience is hungry. Come
Mhm.
That's a
on,
good pivot
deliver.
point. And I will just say the only other game I wanted to talk about because we hadn't is Darwin's Paradox. Konami's back into
Yes,
making games, and they're making an what is the? It's like an octopus plus inside is what
yes.
they're making. So odd, and
It's
I'm here
Yeah,
for it. I love an
yeah,
octopus
looks cute.
in a dystopian adventure trying to escape, and he's got suckers and
Yeah.
he can touch on things. But that leads me to just the state of PlayStation in regards to where their games are. Did Joe touched on a point. We're going to talk about what's happened with them. So I'm just going to go through these really quick. So Sobi made Astrobot in 2024. That is an amazing game. Play it. You should. Did really well. Game of the year in many places. They're still supporting that game with new levels. So check that out.
love that.
Bend, live service game canceled. Days Gone is getting remastered. They didn't have anything to do with that. That was the last game they made. They're back to stage one. Blue Point, live service game canceled. Last game they made was Demon Souls in 2020 for the launch of PlayStation. They're at a pivot point to make a new game. Bungie springing Marathon in 2025. We have not seen anything more than that original trailer, which was just no gameplay.
Mhm.
Firespray, they helped out on, or they developed Horizon VR in 2023. Housemarque has Star Wars coming out in 2026. Guerrilla, Horizon Forbidden West in 2022. Lego 2024. I'm not sure how much they did with that game. We don't know what we're getting next. Haven. This is Jade Raymond's studio. Jade Raymond has not made a game since like Assassin's Creed 2. That's not great. Fair Games 2025. One of the survivors of the live service games. Insomniac. Wolverine 2025. Maybe a Venom game. We don't know.
Hmm.
Media Molecule. Dreams 2020. They stopped supporting the game. Something else is coming. I worry about that studio
Yep.
because they are not money makers. Naughty Dog, Intergalactic 2026. Is that their only thing in their back pocket? We don't know. Nixie's PC ports. They last helped out on The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. That's coming out in April 2025, pairing with the new season, which is great. Polyphony Digital, Gran Turismo 7 2022. San Diego Studio, MLB The Show 25. That is like it happens every year. They get no credit for it. One of the biggest sports games of all time. It's on everything. That's coming out in 2025. They get no love. Sony Santa Monica God of War Ragnarok 2022. And reminder, it was 4 years between the God of Wars. So who knows? Sucker Punch Ghost of Yotai 2025. Hopefully that does come out this year. But man, we need to see more. Valkyrie Entertainment. I don't know what the studio does. It says support.
Yeah.
They helped with God of War's Ragnarok 2022, so they may be glomming on to help out with the next game that's coming out, maybe Ghost of Yotai. And then XDev, future third-party developer titles. This is the important part to me that says they're the ones that get the exclusive launches like Lost Souls of Side. They do those things like that. But what they could do is reach out to third-party developers to say, would you like to make the next medieval
Yeah.
medieval or something like that, an old franchise? Would you like to make the next game that was on a PlayStation 2 that we haven't seen since then? Maybe I'm trying to think of those franchises. Blasto. Would you like to bring Blasto back? So that's where I'm thinking. So that's where all these studios are out, and we basically have talked about where they're at. But yeah, there's some gaps, and we are going to see some delays. And these games don't take. I mean, I think there's 15 studios.
Yep.
If they take 5 years a game, at most we'll get 3 games a year. At most. So that's where we're at. My question to you guys is, what do you think? Do you think PlayStation should lean into third-party developers, helping out Sony develop some of their old IP, like make smaller experiences like Astrobot and Lost Legacy? I don't know.
I think the future isn't smaller. I think the bubble bursting out of these games is that everybody's trying to make Elden Ring. Everybody is trying to make their version of God of War. Everybody is trying to make their version of this, 40, 80, 100-hour game insert here. And some studios can do that, but not all of them, right? So while it is important to have those staples that are like, oh no, this is, while it's important to have like a Cyberpunk or a Witcher 3 type of developer that shoots for that, understand you can't miss, and if you miss, your whole studio goes under. That's the weight of it all. A AAA game cannot sell 1,000,000 units and survive like a Star Wars Outlaws. You need something smaller, something that is going to give you a quicker return, and something that people can actually beat. We hear it a lot. Hey, this game is great. I didn't beat it, or I got close to it. I dropped it. Something else came out. These developers or publishers continuously want more and more and more and more and more out of these developers. But what they really need is more focus. Hone in on what works. Hone in on mechanics that are interesting, and then you're able to take risks from there. Studios that do a really good job at that, Santa Monica and especially Naughty Dog, is able to use that engine that they've been using for Ratchet and Clank on and Sunset Overdrive on Spider-Man. They need more of that, so that you can make a game that doesn't have to sell 9 million units to break even. Because the one thing that I've stressed on the trophy room, and I'm going to stress here, is that PlayStation is in a similar problem that Xbox is. Their problem, or their math problem, is easier to solve because they have more units. That is literally it. But the clock is ticking, and Sony or PlayStation is aware of that because their parent company relies on their profit to keep themselves afloat.
A lot more.
Well, far more than Xbox does.
Far more.
Microsoft is Xbox is a fraction of their business. PlayStation is the majority business of Sony.
This is why you see Xbox games, or Xbox going third party. It's because Microsoft's like, hey, listen, man, time is money, friend, and you've wasted a lot of time, and you've made us spend a lot of money, and now you affect our stock price. So now we need to see returns now. And PlayStation's is, hey, listen, a game, and one thing that us gamers don't understand is like, what is a success? Like an Astrobot. That's a team of literally less than 30 people. That is a less than $30 million game. That game could go out there and sell 1.5 million units and be fine. But
Yeah.
a game like Spider-Man can sell 9 million or 8 million units and break even. And
Yeah.
so that's the
Yeah.
problem that PlayStation has, is that they don't know how to. They created this beast where their consumers are expecting more and more and more of this movie. I'm going to see pores on everyone's faces type of quality of game. And they
Mhm.
need to learn how to correct that scope and focus on, you can still have your narrative, but maybe they're all 20-hour games, right? Maybe your action, maybe Neil Druckmann could edit a few levels out of Last of Us Part 2 and it feels better.
Yeah.
That's what these studios need. Because in retrospect, a game like Spider-Man, or a game like Last of Us Part or Horizon selling 9 million units, that's looked at as PlayStation going, oh, that's a little disappointing. Where you could take a game like Resident Evil 4 Remake, the fastest selling Resident Evil game in the franchise, on 5 different platforms, selling 9 million units, and Capcom being happy with that. So PlayStation's got to really fix how they develop their games, and it's not an overnight fix. So
Mhm.
I said a lot of stuff there that it gets me to, they need to build smaller games, and reteach their audience that not everybody needs to not everybody needs to be Naughty Dog. You can have a studio be like, hey, this is a studio that takes 5 years, 7 years to make a game, but you're going to stop and you're going to look. Not every
Yeah.
game needs to be that. And I think PlayStation's learning that. So like XDev is a really good example. XDev takes teams that PlayStation works with and then turns them into first party if they really like them.
Yeah.
So like Sucker Punch is a really great example of this. Housemark, we just talked about, really great example of this. And then there's some developers that let slide because they like to make mistakes, like From Software with Bloodborne, right? They're like, hey, can you
Mm.
make this game for us? And they're like, yeah, sure. So like, XDev can be used in various different ways. I would love to see them use XDev to go, hey, all these little creative indie units that want to make these cool platformers, well, we'd like to make Jack and Daxter. Can you come
Yeah.
over and make Jack and
Yeah.
Daxter? Hey, can someone make another Sly game? Because
Yeah.
these guys are out there making Ghost of, whatever the Ghost franchise is next. Like,
Mhm.
that's a great
Have
way of moving forward. Yeah.
have Square Enix make another Brave Fencer Musashi. You know,
Well, I
you
don't
know,
think you'll ever
because
see. So as I say that, you'll never see Square Enix again as an exclusive. You'll never
true.
see EA, Activision, any of these major
No, it's
publishers.
just funny because Nintendo did that with some of Square Enix's games, like what was it, Octopath, and then they made smaller games, which don't make it, but they did it because we can help you fund that game. I think of maybe
Mhm.
Sony could do that with some of the games that were really big on PlayStation, which I think of like some of the games that were big on PlayStation 1 that Square did that were never on a PlayStation or a Nintendo. And I'm like, and then we'll fund it. It'll be first on PlayStation, but it'll go out elsewhere.
Yeah,
I think they could do that too.
yeah.
That could be a good
Yeah.
pivot. So Mark, you're not a PlayStation owner now, but what
Yep.
with all this stuff we talked about, what do you think would help you decide to say, hey, I should own a PlayStation?
Um, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one because like I said, this was a fantastic showcase, but it was a gaming showcase. And I think it's brilliant, like I said, that PlayStation chose to do this, that they jumped on this and they said no one else is showcasing this many games all at once. We need to get on that. Um, so I kudos to PlayStation for doing this. I think that's a brilliant move. I've been saying the last couple of weeks, if I didn't have a Disney World trip coming up, I would have bought a PlayStation within the last
So I
two
should blame
months.
Disney.
Absolutely, yeah, do that.
Okay.
Canada had this big like tax break on certain things, and gaming consoles was one of them. So there was no tax on gaming consoles. So like the PlayStation was just the cost of the PlayStation, no tax. If I was going to buy one, that was a great time to do it. But every time I'd see them out, I'd be in a store and I'd see a PlayStation 5 and I'd be like, man, I am tempted to pull the trigger right now. I have the money, but every single time I was doing that, it was like, well, that's a couple of really cool experiences in Disney, or hey, that's a couple of days of like Lightning Lane fast passes, or maybe the full trip of Lightning Lane fast passes or whatever. Or a couple of days worth of like nicer meals rather than just quick serve. Like every single time I almost pulled the trigger over the last 2 months, I would see that kind of thing. And for me, I have a 4-year-old who loves to play games with me. And then the few times that I do get to play games on my own in the evening, once everyone else is in bed, I'm either like back to playing Fortnite or I have a back catalog that's just killing me already. So I think there's a few things for me personally of reasons I don't own a PlayStation, but I really should if my life and lifestyle was a little bit different. I think PlayStation's doing a ton of stuff right. And I think they do those big, bombastic AAA games that nobody else is doing. But I think the expectation that there might be 2 of those a year, maybe 3, maybe 1 for some slower years, especially with some cancellations of live service and different things. But I think a showcase like this shows the importance of having strong third-party relationships and showcasing those third-party relationships. We didn't get this from Xbox, and Xbox is the company that needs this. They have some great first party things. They showed off 4 of them. There's one coming out this week. Awesome, awesome stuff. But where's this gaming showcase that when I think video games, I think Xbox? They don't have that right now. They have Game Pass. They have everything's in Xbox. But who gives a shit unless you know 40 friggin' games that are coming out this year, and PlayStation just did that. So right now, if you think video games, you should be thinking PlayStation, and it's thanks to stuff like this that doesn't need a ton of first-party stuff. It just needs games, and I think they're nailing it right now more than anyone else in the industry is.
I think, and I'm just going to add one more point to this, and then we're going to wrap up. I think that's something we all forget. Like we said, exclusives are 1% of total games released, probably. It's not why we get them, but it is part of the old thinking of that's why you buy a console. We're past that. When PlayStation, Xbox, the only player that's not putting games on PC is Nintendo, and that's where Nintendo plays.
Yeah.
That's a different world. And when I said if PC games come to PlayStation or PlayStation games come to PC day and date, that's one less reason to own a PlayStation. Just go all PC and Nintendo. But what I would like to see,
yeah.
oh, good, Joe.
Go
what I was going to say, the last point I was going to say, what I would like to see in the short term is Nintendo or PlayStation lean into third parties, get some of these studio heads or studio people that they want to promote, put them in charge of producing some of these games from third parties of PlayStation IP to get them moving forward to balance the high end with the mid tier so they can have a good balance of games coming out that are for everybody and then the AAA. That's what I want. I hope it happens.
So the one thing, the one report that I've been seeing is like PlayStation super happy about Astrobot and they want to do more family focused games, right? And there is a reason why they want to do this. First, again, it's the console war lens that we view stuff in, because we're looking at the Xbox numbers and they're not great, right? And when you have their in fact, they're so bad that their CEO is coming out going, "Hey guys, we're definitely making another console." It's like that's
yeah. PlayStation
if,
hasn't had to say that.
right. If you have to reassure people you have something cooking, it's like that's something I always just expected you would do. It's bad. But we're not also looking at the PlayStation picture. PS5 right now, sales wise, is tracking just 1 million under the PlayStation 4. And now you might say, well, that's a pretty good space to be in. I would say it's not at all. Because what you're showing is that it's plateauing. You could blame COVID, you could blame this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
You could see now that there is no growth in the console market. And hell, if you want to just 1 million down is not a whole hell of a lot. If you take a look at the Xbox side and go, there are a few millions off, then you can actually make the argument that the console market is shrinking and it's aging. Gamers
Yup.
on consoles are aging. That's not something you want. A population that ages eventually dies and you don't have any more consumers. So what PlayStation is,
Joe, can I add on to that
yeah,
too?
please.
We're hearing the Switch may be considerably more expensive.
Right.
Having a lower price point is not going to help the Switch numbers, Twitch 2 numbers.
Yeah.
If you were saying the cheapest Switch 2 will be $300, that's not cheap. That's a
It's
hard price to get into. And if it launches at 450, that's not $300. So I'm just saying
And
and it's
to your
and
point,
you have to
the
you
console
have
market
to
is shrinking. Yeah, without
yeah,
the great success of Switch 1, we would probably be at one of the lower points we've had
right.
with consoles.
And when everything could be theoretically played on your phone, which listen, as we've seen with a lot of these AAA games that go on phone, no one plays them. I get it.
right. Right.
But once someone finds out a solution to get this thing, airdropped on a TV, that becomes a
Mhm.
different story entirely, right?
And
It's just about someone cracking the code. And so, I'm sorry, Mark, you go. Sorry.
no, you have to look at the gaming space where you say zoom out a little bit and look at kind of broader picture PlayStation and industry. Zoom out even further and just look at kind of gaming in general and realize that the Monopoly Go marketing budget
Yep.
was bigger than the entire effing
Yes.
budget of Spider-Man 2. And you've got
Yes.
this bleak picture of like, what the hell is gaming and why are these people still trying to make AAA games when they're making this much money? They're spending this much money, $500 million, just marketing
How much does
Monopoly
Roblox
Go.
make? And that game
And
looks
it's
like trash.
like
Right.
it's crazy to me that there's that much budget in, like you said, Joe, like games that are just here, right? Like it's
So it's something that PlayStation has to look at. It's like, okay, so how do we reach a younger audience? Well, these folks that are aging, our consumer base that are aging, they got to be having kids. We got to introduce those kids, and if they bought it, they bought the PS5. They're the parent. Hey, they buy their kid this Astrobot. They become a PlayStation gamer,
right.
right? The sooner they could get a dual sense in a kid's hand, that the better. And
Yeah.
so that is one of the things that PlayStation is looking at right now to grow the audience, because right now it's stagnating. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
to me, it really becomes this everybody has a question to answer. The Switch 2, can it outsell the Switch 1? And if not, by how much? And
Mhm.
if you can't, how do you get more money out of your consumer base? PlayStation's answer is, hey, we throw these state of plays on with a bunch of third-party games that are different and unique, and hopefully one of these big ass streamers says, oh, that game's interesting, starts playing it and blows up. Like that is the hope in
Or
games right now.
PlayStation gets into publishing and puts on Katakawa's games, which would be the From Software games.
And that's
So
what's gonna
that
happen.
becomes another revenue as well. And quite honestly, my son doesn't probably want to own a console. He wants to be on PC. But if those games on PlayStation, Xbox are there, that's where you get kids. You get the Steam Decks, you get the ROG Allies that can
Mhm.
dock and do that. It's a different marketplace. But that's another discussion another day.
Whew.
PlayStation is at a pivot point. We'll see what they do. But at this point, we know we are going to get a lot of games that are coming on PlayStation. They just may not be by PlayStation. So, with that, we are done with the show.
Mhm.
Thank you all for being on here. Joe's got a curfew before his
That's right.
mom yells at him. He
It's
has to go
true.
back in, sneak in through the window, put on a Spider-Man mask, and say, "It's not me, it's Spider-Man."
Exactly.
Um, Joe,
Yes,
thank you so much for being on. It's been too long.
of course.
Where can people find you?
Well, you can follow me over at that big, beautiful blue sky over at Blue Sky. There you go. At Mr. Badbit, at Mr. PS Trophy Room over there on Blue Sky. You can follow the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we go live each and every Wednesday night on youtube.com/PS Trophy Room, where me, Kyle, and our good friend Tegan talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. This week we're going to talk about, is PlayStation coasting? And Kyle gave me the okay, I can probably say it. We'll be having a review discussion of Lost Records Tape 1. Very excited. That's also on PlayStation Plus.
Ooh, that's
um
from the
Notna,
series that I always forget the name of.
Life is
Um,
strange.
that's right.
Yes,
That's
yes.
amazing.
Awesome.
Gotcha thoughts. So yeah, check that out this week. And yeah, gang, listen, I got work. I got to wake up at 6, but this has been a time, man. Been a time.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Joe. Mark, where can people find you?
You can find me over on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky as CaNerdian_Jedi, except on Blue Sky where it's a dash instead of an underscore for some reason. And you can always find me hanging out in our Discord server.
Excellent. Once again, I'm Toxtra on the Instagram, at the Threads, at Secret Friends Unite, on the Blue Sky, at the Threads, at the Instagram, and at Todd Oxtra. I reclaim my name on Blue Sky.
Look at
Not
you
sure
go.
why, but I chose
And
to
listen,
do it.
we are not on X anymore, and I'm going to call it X
Yep.
because the President of the United States renamed it that, and we have to abide.
Correct. I am. Yeah. Get off the
Had to get one
X.
more.
Get off the space.
Had to get
All
one
those
more.
things. We're not going there. But oh well. We know where we stand. Oh well. With that though, thank you, gentlemen. It's been a journey. It's always fun to talk about the world of video games with
That's right.
people that are important to me in this world. And with that, folks, remember, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.